Sorry, what was that?
I said, are you at all a big Marvel fan?
I wouldn't say a big fan. I followed some comics-ish back in the day, and I'm familiar with the MCU up through Endgame, basically.
So safe to say you haven't seen the new Deadpool. Have you seen any of the Deadpools?
Yeah, I saw the first two, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I had a bet with a coworker at work that they thought that Inside Out 2 was going to gross more in their opening weekend than Deadpool. And it was a good bet, it was a fair bet, because, kids are out, kids movie, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, not surprisingly to me, because I took the Deadpool side of the bet. It came out pretty nicely.
Cool. Yeah, that is a good bet. I'm not sure where I would have landed on that. I could see that either way.
I'm pretty sure Inside Out was like whenever the first one came out, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it was like the big summer hit, maybe even the best that year. So
yeah.
Anyway, got me some banana bread.
Nice. Yeah. Everyone likes banana bread.
But outside of that, Deadpool 3 was fantastic. Especially if you read comics from post 2005 or something. There's a lot of callbacks to like older generations of fans for Marvel.
I should dig up. I'm pretty sure I've got Deadpool 1 through at least like 5, maybe 10, from when he finally got his first like solo comic. Should go back and read that stuff.
Was he still like the Liefeld version serious mercenary?
I feel like when he got his own comic, it was still goofy.
Okay.
Like,
I know he started as totally unrelated to Slade, obviously, clearly, but was originally intended to be just like play it straight merc, and it turns out that was not as much fun as what he became, like, irrespective of Liefeld's wishes.
Like Frank Castle. Who's he? He's a Spider-Man villain? Whatever. Some dude, he shoots people, Spider-Man stops him. Like, yeah, okay. This Punisher guy's kind of cool.
And now he's got like 3 or 4 different cinematic avenues.
Yep.
So when he came out in his own comic, was he break fourth Wally, or is that a relatively new development?
I don't remember that at all, but I also really didn't pay attention. At that point, I didn't know there were seasons of TV shows.
Oh.
Like, I wasn't paying a lot of attention to stuff.
Fair.
So that's one of the reasons it would be interesting to go back and look.
With his success nowadays in movies, I feel like they might also be worth looking up how much they're worth.
Yeah. But that was also when, like, the idea of combining sword and pistol was crazy. Like, there were gun guys, there were sword guys, but like you didn't have gun and sword people doing things. That was nuts.
Best of both worlds.
Cool. All right. Anyhow, I'll assume people have had a chance to check out their physical evidence. I will also note, though not supported by props, there are a few other things in that box. There are various receipts for goods and services, including deliveries to Henson Manufacturing in Derby for wood and coal, iron ingots, and copper wiring, along with the cast iron safe receipt that you have a physical copy of. There is a receipt from Ferris and Sons of London. I will put Ferris and Sons in the chat so you can see it. Oh. Ferris and Sons of London for the 6-month hire of a truck.
Son of a bitch.
There's a letter from Mr. Puneet Chaudhry of Ropemakers Fields in Limehouse. I can spell the word house, honestly. Letter relates to the warehousing and shipment of sundry antiquities to Shanghai on board a ship called the Ivory Wind.
Shanghai.
What was the name of the boat? I'm sorry.
The Ivory Wind. I put all the noteworthy proper nouns in the chat on this call.
Thank you. Bless you. That makes it much easier.
Just leave enough for me to make one more drink.
All right. A lot of connections lining up. I like it.
And then under all of that, kind of jammed into a corner of the box, is the Empire Spices business card. While searching around the desk, you also find a couple of boxes that are next to it, which seem to contain a 3-day supply of canned food, fresh water, candles, matches, a couple changes of clothes, variety of just sort of emergency supplies.
Okay. What was the Ferris and Sons thing?
There was a receipt from Ferris and Sons of London for the 6-month hire of a truck.
Okay, hang on.
I've also got it.
Basically, receipt for a ship, a truck, and a safe.
And then Puneet Chaudhry of Ropemaker Fields was what?
A letter relating to the warehousing and shipment of sundry antiquities to Shanghai on board a ship called the Ivory Wind.
So I have written down Shanghai, 10 Lantern Street, the Stumbling Tiger. Is that that's the matchbook we found way back in Elias's stuff.
And then what was Limehouse?
Limehouse is where Puneet Chaudhry is.
I couldn't hear you over the meowing of a cat. Is where Chaudhry is?
Limehouse is where Chaudhry is. check the chat on the call. It's Mr. Puneet Chowdhury of Rope Makers Fields, Limehouse.
Limehouse. Oh, I see. They were connected. I thought it was like a bullet point list. I'm sorry.
No, they are. That's why I've got them on the same line in the chat.
And is it spelled lime, Lime, or lim, Lim?
Lime. Did I spell it wrong? I
I
did.
want to make sure
I will correct that, but yes, it is Limehouse. Sorry.
And
It helps to reference the spelling if I spell it correctly when I put it in the chat. I'm sorry.
And the date today is what?
March 6th, 1925. It's a Tuesday.
Gotcha.
That's sending things to Shanghai.
Nope.
I'll also make a point to check for any false bottoms or locked drawers or anything like that.
Sure.
Denny will be keeping an eye out for an air pipe that matches up to the one we saw outside.
No roll required. You see the inlet here,
Okay.
You see
sort
it?
of on the back side of the room, coming out from the wall. This is going to be below what you saw outside, but it's easy to imagine kind of a shallow S that pipe runs in.
Okay, sorry. I was reading one. No.
And the bug out box is for 3 months, 6
Days.
months, 3 days.
3 days worth of stuff. I give or take, but 3 days, assuming like 3 units of food a day, 3 changes of clothes, that kind of thing. It could presumably be stretched for longer, but that's sort of the baseline there.
There's only so much pooping you can do in this place.
There's a pipe.
Lots of crates.
That's
You're
an S
letting
pipe.
poop go up.
Not that kind of S pipe.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, that was like a lot. So I make sure I got it all.
Not at all.
So it's searchable. That's how I got myself in the past. Like, I'll remember, I'll take abbreviated notes, and then I search, like, I don't know what this means.
Speaking of which, I'm kind of curious in your reply to if we're on tonight. You said it was the call of Cthulhu, or the call Cthulhu is calling, but don't star 69 it, or something to that effect. I was wondering, Jake, do you know what star 69 is?
I'm on the spot now, but I know what it is. Oh, I've heard of it, and I'm fairly confident I know what it is. It's like to hide your number, right?
Close. Star 67.
Oh, frick.
And then star 69 would call back the person who just called you.
Before
But it's
caller
this
ID
weird
and callback.
Time, like because Rob wasn't
We were
very
just
familiar
talking about
with it.
this.
So like maybe not all Gen Xers know it, but millennials, the older millennials will, like, because you have to have had a touch tone phone, but it had to have been before caller ID. So there's a sweet spot between touch tone and caller ID where that existed.
To be fair, I had a house phone when I was younger, but I never like used it for any, like everybody I knew was on my block, so why would I call anybody if I could just ride my bike down there?
Right.
But I
For me,
didn't
it
get a
was
cell phone until I was
calls.
like,
Everything.
I didn't get a cell phone until I was like a senior in high school. So
I didn't get a cell phone until we had our first kid.
That's not true.
were they invented prior?
Yeah.
You were related.
I got a cell phone basically as soon as I graduated from college, I think. Got my first Samsung, like, half clamshell phone.
Yeah.
I sort of miss the Star Trek flip.
Yeah.
That was one I had.
You could still
I had-
hang up on people.
Yep.
Tapping the red icon is not as satisfying as ka-chick! We're done here.
I just remember being like a middle schooler and you'd crank call your friends or kids in your class, and then when Star 69 came out, they
You
would
are
call
so much trouble.
like, "Who's this?"
Yep.
Whereas I was still using a phone that was made out of Bakelite and was heavy enough to kill a burglar.
Still
We
have
were
one of those.
fancy. We had one of the clear phones where you could see the inside. It was
Yes.
Mm.
I had one of those too. They were sweet.
Axl Rose hit, but he smashed it.
I remember looking up in the yellow pages, no, the white pages, a like prank call. You look up a guy named like Dick White, but it was always White, Dick, and I thought that was just the funniest thing that's ever been invented. Like, oh, we got to call this guy.
I mean,
See,
I'm sure that never happened to him too.
and now the notion of a central registry where they publish all your personal information, your phone number, your name, and your address in just a book that anyone can have is almost offensive in how ridiculous that is. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
You had to pay them money to be unlisted.
Yep.
Like, wow, that's unlisted people money.
But that's
We don't
like
got that.
when you watch the Terminator movie. Like, he went and ripped a page out of the phone book and then was just killing everyone according to their name and address. Like, you show that to a kid now, they're like, well, how is that even possible? Like,
Would you list everyone's name and address in a book and then put it in a place that everybody walks by all the time? That's ridiculous. You don't tell people your address.
Evenly distribute them across the country. Just
Yeah,
we make sure every household has one. We mail it to them.
exactly.
We send it out. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Really weird.
Yeah, my Star 69 technology level was Ask Jeeves, or I think that's what it was. Where you texted a number, and it like Googled it for you basically, and then gave you an answer back.
Okay.
Man. God, there's so much of that that's just... It turned out to be such a small moment in time, ultimately. Like... PI 41414 to get the time. At the tone, the time will be 4:30 and 15 seconds.
Ours was temperature.
There,
I have a friend at my office that went to UW-Madison, and she's a bit older than I am. And she was on campus when you could call this phone number and just like ask them things, like literal like proto Google. Like,
information.
Yeah, and they were like librarians, and they'd go look stuff up and find things out for you. Like, hey, how many miles is the circumference of the Earth? Like, hang on a minute. Like, person Google.
I called them when I was a kid all the time. I asked them where all the places in the song Kokomo were.
How did they know that? How did they get that information before the internet? What did they do?
Just looking it up.
They just
library science.
I once got transferred to a travel agency. Like, here's someone who can help you, and it was a travel agency to tell me where places were.
That's
This is a great use of my time.
Please stop calling me. Like,
I don't know. They probably love doing that. Like, hang on, man, I got that. I got you. Let me find that for you.
Because
Back in
what
the
did
day,
you
we
do?
weren't
Buy
fighting
all the
for our
things-
lives for income.
What's that?
I'm saying back in the day when we weren't fighting for our lives for income. He's like, yeah, I make a modest salary. I can entertain this kid. Now it's like, get the fuck off the phone, dude. I'm trying to make money.
I have to hustle.
Yeah.
You're not paying me. Hang up.
can I have one of those? Yeah, but that's like, people forget. Back in the 80s, you had to skate or die.
Oh. Yeah.
Like,
All that shit.
I bet you people made like those little blips in time, 1 to 3 years. I bet you people made money hand over fist for those things, though.
Sure. 10, 10, 3, 2, 1. Or dial down the middle to get your insanely good rate on long distance as long as you talk for at least 20 minutes.
Call ATT. I did that.
1-800-CALLATT. Yep. And then and then it would give you a moment to record a message to explain why they should accept your collect call, but all you would leave is, "Mom, I'm ready, come pick me up."
Yep.
Right.
And then they
you
would
know
say,
that commercial?
"Do you accept the call from Mom, I'm ready, come pick me up?" And she would say no, and then she would go pick you up.
We
Do
Had a
you
Baby, It's a
remember
Boy.
that? Yeah, I say we had a baby, it's a call for we had a baby, it's a boy.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's
Exactly the one I was thinking of.
it's like hidden knowledge, just a little bit before my time, and it's just like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, because it's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's only, and the idea that call ATT existed to solve the problem that AT&T was charging usurious rates for long distance is just the icing on the cake. Like 60 some cents a minute to call long distance, meaning any other area code, and then later local long distance. So far enough away in your area code was still like 20 some cents a minute. Like 60 cents a minute now is insane for a phone call. 60 cents a minute when gas is $1.25 a gallon is preposterous.
Oh, Matt.
Yeah.
When,
International calls.
Oh God, well, don't even bother.
but
Like,
that's
your employer better be paying for that, because
also like a gallon of gas, a pound of ground beef, or a gallon of milk all cost 99 cents.
Yep.
Like, what do you want?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well now
so
a pound of ground beef
Like
is
few
$6.
minutes of phone call,
Yeah.
the same as
So calling Baltimore to talk to my grandparents was a big deal.
and like there was a time when that made sense. Like, yeah, this is expensive. Do you know what had to happen for this to happen?
Yeah.
And then there were a couple decades where, I mean, I guess we still own the phone lines. And you
Yeah.
know, Saturday Night Live skits. We don't care. We're the phone company. We don't
Yeah.
have to.
Well, yeah, they didn't. And here in Wisconsin, they didn't get rid of the, what was it? It was like the Spanish-American War phone tax until like 2007.
What even
My-
is this?
What is
My
that?
Oh, yeah. My grandmother, until the day she died in 2011, 2012, somewhere in there, was still paying the rental fee for one of her phones.
Oh,
Like,
my
for the
dad.
phone hardware.
My dad, when he finally got a touch-tone phone, he returned that Bakelite phone to the phone company because he was paying rent on
Yep.
it. And the lady at the front desk was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, No, I'm paying whatever 15 cents a month or something for this phone, and now you're getting it back. She was like, "I have to get a supervisor." Okay, whatever.
Dude,
I'd almost keep it. That.
I would have kept it. Dude,
Yeah.
the times I've seen, like, have you guys seen the memes of like the dude on the Bakelite phone, but it's like the spirally cord that goes onto his iPhone? Have you seen that? I want one of those so bad.
Like it plugs into
Yes.
the port.
I want it so bad.
Ooh, that sounds really cool.
It's so great.
I've got a whole theory called man box theory that falls directly into.
Yeah.
Man box theory.
There's a company called Manbox where you can order a slew of things such as overpriced dried meats and
Oh, or like, or watch cologne for your watch.
correct or
Consent
shitty razors that are just single blade, or like these things that are so antiquated but are cool now because we have technology, and things that are untechnological are cool that you'll
Mustache.
overpay. Right, so you pay like $90 a month to get a box in the mail. And the icing on top of the cake, which is it ties it all together, is it comes in a wooden crate with like the cross member and everything. That they send you a crowbar that you open it with, and that's part of the whole thing. Like this, and that's the whole thing that we're talking about here is like I can get razors for 5 cents a piece at Costco for like 100 of them, and they're like fairly high quality. Or I could spend $7 out of this man box and get this really shitty razor and have to pry open the box myself when there's technology that's far better than whatever that is.
Sounds like a gag gift.
Yeah, it does. But people, oh man, yeah, it's crazy.
Dudes need to work. And if
Yeah.
you
Right, gotta earn
have
it.
a job like mine where you don't work, you need to find some other way to have that work.
Precisely.
Or just become a creepy, weird loner weirdo like me at work.
They have like whole Bakelite phones that are just Bluetooth and will work with your phone.
Perfect.
So you can even slam it.
Which is
Hey,
the
I'm
only
like-
thing I really miss.
I went antique shopping with Elodie in Iowa City, and she found a turkey phone that was an advertisement for like the Butterball hotline in the 80s. But the whole phone was a giant plastic turkey, and I wanted it, but it was like $150. I cannot spend that kind of money on a gag phone, but I'm tempted.
And the crazy part is, when that phone came out, it was like $6 or like $8 or something.
Right, free. It was an ad for the Butterball
Wait.
line.
Or free with the purchase of a Butterball turkey.
Yeah, crazy.
Or
Yep.
just like buy a year of Sports Illustrated and then they just give it to you.
Well, that was the
Cut
football.
out completely after the word buy.
There's also the Garfield phone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Garfield phone.
That was the one that I hung up on my grandparents long distance in Baltimore on by mistake because my cousins, Ihan and Asembahar and Resmane, had the Garfield phone, but when I put it to my ear, the like hang up button was inside of the curve and I like hung up the phone
Yep.
And then
And
you must
now-
have a whole long distance phone call.
and everybody, we're done. Now we're not talking to our grandparents anymore. It was very disruptive. It felt terrible.
I'm sorry, what are your cousins' names again?
Resmane, Ihan, and Asembahar.
Those are Turkish names.
They're Turkish names.
Is your family Turkish?
My mom's sister married a guy from the eastern end of Turkey.
Okay. That threw me for a loop.
The leg meat.
His name's Husnu. He had a good restaurant.
He had an
That was a
amazing.
good restaurant.
Like on our second date, Rob took me to this Turkish restaurant, and he treated us like royalty, and I was very impressed. It may have.
I was like, haha, sucker, now you gotta marry me, and there's no tag backs.
And look how that turned out.
No takesy backsies?
Yep.
That's right. Ah! Ah!
The
You ate
Turkish
the food, you're
tradition.
in.
Turkish tradition. You get
My
the
Turkish
machine
law were
gun,
married already.
you get the machine gun and raid the neighboring village and take their brides.
And goats.
Yeah, they're one and the same, I think, maybe.
I don't make the
Yeah.
rule.
My hands are tied. Nothing I can do.
Oh, that they went and visited his village, and they still had a tripod machine gun in the square for bride raids.
Oh my.
That's got to be a lie.
No, not at all.
Are they still there?
That was in like 2008.
I have not seen Renee post anything on her Instagram.
They're all over there right now
They're
again.
there right
Yeah.
now.
It's got to be ceremonial, though, right?
No, man, dude,
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
dude, the world has not changed almost at all over the last
Big.
5 years.
So much has changed, and almost nothing has changed, and it is insanity. Like just crazy. Like it used to bother me. Like in Star Wars and various spin-offs, you go to all these places where these villagers are using fucking bows and arrows and shit, and then I realized, no, man, he's just reflecting the world.
Yep.
Like, so I only slightly related. Relatively recently, which means sometime in the last decade, I read an article in some publication. I was going to say magazine, but I don't know what that means anymore. That was talking about the future and how the future is like a 20th century invention. And for most of human history, the future wasn't a thing. Like, not that time didn't exist or anything stupid like that, or people didn't know what the future meant, but no one thought about the future because the future is going to be just like now, because nothing changes. we don't think about the future aside from I'm going to get married next week and shit like that. We don't think about like the next generation, because it's going to be just like this fucking generation, like they all have been for as long as anyone can remember, until like the late 19th into the 20th centuries, where now you expect the future to be different, and it's worth thinking about the future because it's going to be different. Like important things that are important to me will not be the same then as they are now. And in a lot of the world, that's still not really true.
Right. And again, the introduction of, instead of everyone having to grab their swords to repel the bride raid, now we've got these rad water-cooled machine guns. That doesn't mean that the future is going to be different. It just means now you have a cool new thing. That's the end. Yeah.
When was Edgar Allan Poe? 'Cause I know he wrote some sci-fi about the future.
Yep. That's like the dawning of it.
Yeah.
The Industrial Revolution that's kind of smeared out when that started, period, is really where it starts being like, no, but my kid's world will be different than mine. Like, in ways that matter.
But yeah, if I didn't have the family that I had, I wouldn't know the term bride raid. Like,
Yeah, that was
And
a
you're
new
so much richer for it.
crazy stuff.
I can never think of these things when I want to, like right now, but every now and again I run across something that seems absolutely archaic to me. And then realize, yeah, but why would they change? He's doing it this way because that's how his dad did it, or his boss did it when he started working here, and his boss did it that way because that's the way his boss did it when he started working here, and this is how we still do it because there's no real reason for it to change.
It's
The only thing I can think of is like apocalypse. Like the only thing that people were writing about the future, like before the 1800s was, okay, in the past there was like Moses and Jesus, and then like, these Greeks that did all sorts of great things. We see their monuments, they did things way better than we can do it. Society is worse now, and pretty soon the world's gonna end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that like there'll be, fire and volcanoes and monsters coming out of the ocean. That's the future. That's the only future we can conceive of that is any different than
Yep. And nobody thinks it's gonna happen like tomorrow.
Right.
Just at some point that'll happen. So we've got what's now, and then everything ends. Oh, maybe tomorrow.
It's got to be a perspective thing, because like we're in such a change-rich environment, right? Even just in your job, like you're doing a thing, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to implement this new high-tech AI, blah blah blah." But there's a guy that's thinking about 3 steps past AI. Like, nobody's thinking about what we're doing. It's all about what we're going to do.
Yeah, and that dude is just like sharpening sticks and collecting fish hooks.
When we've grown up with this just rapid changing
we
environment.
have records going into tapes, going into CDs. Like, we were used to that.
And I often have to train people on like how to use a website or how to use this or that. And when I run into someone of, say, the boomer generation, they didn't maybe grow up with such rapid change, especially not with technology, not with computers. And when something like the interface changes just a little bit, or Facebook did something different, like they can't handle it. They can remember the first time they ever used Facebook or the first time they ever used WordPress, and they can't. Like for me, I always expect an interface to change or everything to change tomorrow. Like, okay, I'll have to learn the new way to do it.
I remember right now.
Apple changed the way that your mouse wheel scrolls from up to down. They inverted the axis,
which I still hate.
One time.
Yeah.
And
Mac.
My boss being like, "Well, you can go into your settings and you can change it back to the old way." I'm like, "Or you just learn the new way."
Yep. Well, I have a regedit saved in PowerShell to swap my mouse wheel because inverted scrolling makes more sense to me now. Like, yes, you move the document up. You go up to move the document up, and now the document goes up. Because it would be stupid on my phone to pull down and have the document go up. That would be ridiculous.
For me, like I work Mac and PC, and so I scroll one way on one computer and another way on another computer.
Yep.
You know, it's just, you're going to work with lots of different things.
And
You just got to adapt as you
one,
go.
that's one thing that maybe I shouldn't have done, but I did. And then I trained my son on airplane, like pull back on the stick to go
Inverted
up.
Y on a
Yeah, I'm
joystick.
sorry, man. You invert that Y. That's how it works. Just you do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes. And I grossly miss the Xbox and Xbox 360 system-wide setting for invert Y. Like I said that on the console. They got rid of that, now to set it in every game again, which is very annoying. And luckily it has been a long time since there was a game that didn't let you switch it. And that game I just didn't play. Like, well, can't play this.
So you're setting it to invert or setting it to normal?
Invert. Because I
Crazy
played
to me.
I played flight sims. The first thing I played that had that axis of motion were flight sims. And you push the stick forward to dive.
So you're telling me you do this with your mouse and you expect it to go up?
I do not control anything with my scroll wheel that way, so I can't answer that.
If you're
But I'll
just
tell you,
browsing a read?
if I'm browsing the web, if I flick the scroll wheel forward, the page scrolls up.
That's normal. No.
Yeah.
That is normal now, yes. But for me, that is not the Windows default. The Windows default, the scroll wheel controls the scroll icon in the scroll bar. So if you pull the wheel down, the scroll bar moves down and the document moves up, which makes sense if you think of the scroll wheel as attached to the scroll bar. But once I got a phone with a touchscreen where it would be stupid to move my finger up and have the document move down, my perspective shifted to I'm scrolling the document. And if you think about it as scrolling the document, scrolling the scroll wheel forward moves the document up, and pulling it back moves it down. So I have to flip-flop it on all my Windows machines. And I do, because I prefer it. But I can also use someone else's computer that does not do it that way. It's fine.
However,
It's fine.
if you want to incapacitate me on a first-person shooter,
oh god,
you don't let me invert the Y-axis.
Yeah, no good. I can't do that. Can't do it. I could learn it, but I don't want it. I don't want to. I'm not going to.
You're telling me you don't want to just look at the ground as you run the whole way?
I don't want to be Ian. Damn it. Yep. And it all comes down to the first games I played with a vertical axis were flight sims. So I push forward on the stick to look down, and I pull back on to look up, because that's how planes work.
Yep.
And now that's true of all things.
But I remember Star Wars Galaxy, or Star Wars Battlefront 2, that playing, and he was having a hard time, and I remember thinking, like, this is where you could let him be okay with normal and just do it, or like, no, sorry, look, here, we'll switch this. This will make it better. Which I don't know if it even did, but I broke his brain.
It all comes down to what you did first, because you will never find a flight sim that doesn't work that way, because that's not how planes work. They're modeling a real thing, and in a real plane, you push forward to go down and pull back to go up. If you ever play those, you are better off with inverted. If you never do, it doesn't matter, and you should probably play not inverted, because that's the default on everything, so you'll always have to go find the option and change it. And then they'll ask stupid questions like, do you want to invert the X? What? No. That's stupid. Why? I would love to see stats on how many people actually do that, because I can think of
the negative version.
Like, what? Why? No, why would I want... This stick maps directly... The problem is forward and back do not naturally map to up and down. Like, there's no... Like, mathematically, there's no real map between forward and back and up and down. That's all in your brain. It's very natural to me for forward to be down. It's very natural to others for forward to be up. Sure, got it. But this plane and this plane do not map. I get that. X, left, should go left, because it is left. Like, it's the actual direction. There's a direct map. I'm moving it left to go left. I'm moving it right to go right. Moving it right to go left is stupid. Moving it forward to go up or forward to go down is not automatically ridiculous. Forward could be either.
The unfortunate part is in a lot of the new flying games, I got the new Ace Combat game on my computer, and left is not strafe left. Left is roll left.
Sure, because in a real flight sim, you never, ever flat turn.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, what was it? Not X3, it was space flight sim that I cannot remember the name of. Elite Dangerous. And maybe Starfield, actually, where, yeah, you don't turn, you bank. Because in a real plane, like a real fighter, I assume jetliners also, but you bank and then pull back. That's how you turn. There is no, like, you can rudder, you can trim the rudder, but you can't, isn't a control for, like, you don't do that. You bank and then pull.
Right.
And they all inherit from that. They don't have to because they're space sims, so it doesn't really make sense to follow that convention, honestly, because you could just turn left in space. In a plane, you effectively can't. Your direction of force is all up and down because you're a plane. You don't bank and yeah. But because space flight sims are almost all designed around flying planes, there we are. Aside from Mantis?
Well, EVE Online is a submarine simulator, basically.
Right. Right, cap ships are sometimes just submarine games, which is a lot closer as a model than fighter planes are for snub ships in space, honestly.
But when your plane's finished flying and it stops, it goes like this and settles out.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyhow, speaking of spaceflight, you're in the secret room below the Pengu Foundation. You have looked at the desk, the box under the desk, the artwork, though not the statue. There are, of notable things in the room remaining, there are 2 wooden crates, a tall one and a small one.
All right. The one other thing that Denny was going to look at, other than the pipe, was for if this is connected to the sarcophagus, how does it come in here?
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's obvious from this side. There's over on the far side of the room, a little bit of give away from all. There's a tight spiral staircase that goes up to a trapdoor in the ceiling.
Got it.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. It's not hidden. It's just sitting in the room. It is clear,
This
like
isn't a different room. This
Right.
is the room.
Or at least
Got 2 secret rooms?
there is a spiral staircase that goes up to what is obviously a trapdoor in the ceiling. And given where you feel like you are on the floor plan, it basically has to be what DVD found earlier.
And with full investigation of the desk, there's no false bottoms or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
All right, then Denny's going to migrate over to look at the statues.
Cool. Even before that happens, we can have everybody who is at all looking around at the paintings or iconography or statues or whatever else, just give me an archaeology roll.
Maybe both of us who suck at it should stop.
98
Not a
is
39
still
that failed.
I mean, yes, if you have less than 50 in a skill, 98 is a crit fail.
Yeah.
On the plus side, you guys are mostly crit failing on these information checks where there's not a whole lot to go disastrously wrong for you. I will have you make a sanity check, though, because you find yourself examining something a little closer than you thought you were going to.
Do I need to do another sanity roll?
No, you're fine. It was just for the critical failure.
Okay.
Since it's just absorbing information about kind of the stuff, I wasn't going to make a sanity check for just the archaeology general information check, but it's all I can come up with for a crit fail on the doesn't need to say anything to you roll. Who was looking at the statues? Cool. Then I will need you to make another sanity roll.
Do you want me to
You already
make
made one. You just did. Fine. Yep.
I thought you were talking to me.
I was, but you already made a sanity roll. You didn't need to, so we'll count that for this. The statue is also very off-putting. It's a statue of like... It's sort of... What's your archaeology skill? Okay, so no. I will tell you then, this is not something that would occur to Denny. It's sort of reminiscent of like ancient historical, like fertility goddess sort of statues, except bloated and wrong in all the worst possible ways. Looking sort of diseased, but not in any way weakened by it. And I will... Right, you don't need that. Yes. So it's a largish statue, probably 2, almost 3 feet tall, and bulky on a like sturdy shelf in the wall. And it just looks wrong, just visually offensive.
Hey, while we're doing all that, looking around, I'd like to also listen to see if I can hear footsteps above from the security guard and such.
Cool. Give me a listen check.
Noise.
Nice. Yeah. Since you asked and tried, you have plenty of time and are able to hear the sound of the other door in the large room opening. Now, you took the step of closing the door into the storage room, so you know that there isn't, like, nobody can see where you are right now, but you hear that door from the stairs in the main room clicking open.
Alright, so without saying a word, and hopefully nobody else is saying anything actively, I'm going to, like, do this to get people's attention, and do, like cover your face with something, and I will rap. I don't know. I've got something, I'm sure.
Now the secret brick door is shut, right?
No, it is open.
No.
Oh.
I mean, we should probably just close that.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it enough.
Like,
It opened quietly when you opened it. It did not make a huge noise when it first opened.
Okay, so the doctor is going to immediately stand up from the desk, wrap his face in something. I don't know that I have something. I've got a medical bag. I'll throw some.
Let's just shut the secret door. You don't think the security guard knows
It's
about
gonna go full Invisible Man, like gauze.
Exactly. I'll do a few wraps around above my brow and below, and I'll run over to the door. I'll hit the switch from the inside of the room, and pull out my shotgun from my pack, and then stand against the inside wall.
Sure. So the door swings silently shut and just closes.
Okay.
Hopefully there's a way to open it on this side.
Well, we've got the stairs upstairs.
Switch.
And we do have the sarcophagus.
Okay.
Stairway.
So I will stop looking at the weird, hyper gross, apparently lady statue and start listening to see if the door's gonna open.
Sure. With DVD's listen check and letting everybody know, you all fall silent and just start listening. Yeah, Doctor, you're the only one who's going to hear anything. Because as that door shuts, it fits flush into this thick concrete wall. Like, there's not a lot that's making it through here. But that was a pretty good roll, and there obviously must be seams. So, after a couple minutes, you can also hear another door open, presumably the door to the storage room that the secret door was in. And for a couple minutes, you don't hear anything. Then you hear what sounds like a door closing.
Couple minutes, good God.
And that's it.
I'm gonna continue listening until I hear him. What? It's thick wall. Would I be able to hear him go up the stairs, or is that too far off?
Probably not. Your estimation is you were lucky to hear anything like even the door opening and closing from where you are.
With the secret door open, that would have given you extra ability to hear.
With the door open, you could hear because it's just an open hole to the rest of the floor. With it closed, you have no idea. You heard the door open, and you heard what sounded like a door closing a couple minutes later.
Okay.
That's what you got.
I'm gonna remain where I am, but do some hand signs like door is closed. You know, take a gander, but be quiet about it. Until is the roof also lined with concrete?
Yep. This is the concrete box you are in.
Right, so Denny's going to check his watch so that we know what time he was here in the basement.
Sure. For ease of just giving you a time, we'll say it is 12:15 when the doctor hears the door close.
What we don't know is that if he closed the door and he's still inside the room, or if he closed the door and he's out.
We don't know that, but it's likely that he's not hiding in the basement.
I'm gonna remain next to the wall. I'll give you guys the go ahead and search whatever you can search.
Cool. So Denny has looked at the statues. He's going to ask Lois for help getting there are 2 crates that haven't been opened.
There's a tall crate and a small crate. They're the only ones in the room that are still sealed.
Let's start with the small one because that doesn't necessarily have a living zombie in it.
The big one's the worst.
Yeah.
All right. So you go to the small crate, and the first thing that catches your eye is stenciled on the crate are the words Randolph Shipping Company, Port Darwin, Northern Territory, Dominion of Australia.
Oh.
More Australia stuff.
This is like a shipping crate or like a fancy...
More like a shipping crate. Utility crate, at least. It's just a wooden slatted crate with 2x4 reinforced edges and corners and cross bracing on the faces, or at least the 4 lateral faces. No cross bracing on the top face. That's just a slatted wooden face, and obviously you can't see the bottom of it. It's got stenciled on it Randolph Shipping, Port Darwin, Northern Territory, Dominion of Australia, and underneath that, and this is on the top of the crate, there's a symbol that looks like possibly a stylized deer head or some kind of winged creature, depending on how you interpret the shapes. And underneath that, in smaller, looks like handwritten letters on the lid, not stenciled, it says, "Personal to Mr. Randolph."
Was there a bat thing in Australia?
Bat boy?
Is that right?
I feel like that was an Africa thing. No, you might be remembering right. Like the bat, like some sort of bat god.
Yeah.
I do remember something about that.
Like not a vampire necessarily, but
Look familiar. Control F bat.
Yeah. Hang on 1 second. One side.
so Denny will say to Lois, is that a deer or is that a bat?
I mean, it's a deer with wings or something. I don't think that's...
When he asks the question, it's not clear. Your
Okay.
first impression, probably given where you grew up in the United States, your first impression is like stylized deer head with antlers. If Denny asks, is that a deer head or a bat? And you look at it like, well, it's an awfully stylized head. And yeah, the antlers, what you're seeing as antlers, could be like the bone and finger bones of bat wings. That's possible. It could also be a deer. It is not terribly representational. It is intended clearly to be evocative of one of the two, or possibly a third thing you haven't thought of.
Can
I
I?
like to refer to it as the bat device, like on the Bacardi bottles.
Is there a roll that I can do to try and see if I either remember it or know what it is from lore?
And I guess you can make a mythos roll.
Nope.
You do not recognize it.
All right, we haven't opened this yet.
Nope.
That's something right. Nothing bad.
I feel like the bat thing was in one of the things that were printed out.
I don't have it. I don't have the word bat, and when I looked for Australia, I didn't see anything that was bat related.
I feel like it might be in one of the pieces of paper we got out of an envelope.
Do you have those all, Matt, in the notes on BTT or no?
The majority of them, I still don't have the stuff from England, but it wouldn't be anything in England. I have all the Peru and New York evidence that were handouts in journals in Foundry.
Before we go digging, have we seen it in our notes?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be coy or evasive. I honestly don't know if you've run across it or not.
Well, we'll just
We'll
make a note of it and we'll look for it later.
Everything's so violently cursive.
Yeah.
Crack it up. You guys be fine.
I feel like it's one of those papers where they're describing the weird somethings about the bloody tongue or
Doing a quick check.
Sandbat versus rainbow snake.
There we go.
Australia. All right, bat cult. I've got that as something that was written by the dude in Arkham. Sorry, I'm just zooming in on my photo of my conspiracy board. The bat cult is the enemy of the rainbow snake cult. Sandbat is the father of all bats. It's of all Australian Aborigines. The person who's writing about this is Arthur McWhirr.
Yes, you're looking for a summary of Professor
Summary.
Cowles' letter.
Professor
OF
Cowles.
98. 1. A bat cult once existed. So,
Yep, that's the one.
alright, well. So, bat cult
There's a bat cult.
and Australia. That tracks.
So,
Anyway, Lois, you want to open this thing up with me?
yeah, I'll help with that. Oh, what I need to roll.
We're going to try and open this thing up in the least destructive way possible.
Sure, and that's not a problem. In fact, I think you have a crowbar on you canonically.
I think I do.
It's easy enough to pry open. Potentially difficult to make it look like nothing has happened. You don't have to destroy anything, but you are prying it and pulling the nails free, which
Right.
sort of is what it is. It's a nailed shut wooden crate. So you and Lois are opening the crate?
Yep.
Yep.
Then I will need each of you to make a sanity roll.
Yay.
Go ahead. You do it. I didn't do a good job at it last time. Yeah.
You're good.
What are you? Rob's not letting me roll. See.
What a big jerk.
I accidentally clicked on the Pikachu on the search bar next to my wife's window.
Oh, Windows. Oh, yeah.
An actual Pikachu?
Yeah.
Yes.
Metaphorical Pikachu.
It's the search picture of the day. Hey, look at me. I'm
Nice.
We're both super sane.
I'm like,
Um,
whatever's in this crate is
No big deal.
whatever.
you are taken aback by the grotesquerie, but not otherwise affected by it. Inside, sort of packed in sawdust and shredded paper, is a roughly 16-inch high statue of fat, sort of dragonish thing. Except it's got a particularly evil, for lack of a better word, looking head fringed by tentacles, which are shaped in a obviously active sort of fashion to try and evoke writhing and grabbing in a way that you don't suspect is friendly. As noodly appendages go, these are bad ones. And you can both then give me a mythos roll.
Both of us?
Yep.
Don't click on the Pikachu.
I didn't. I'm very good at not clicking on.
Yep. It's off-putting, but you don't otherwise recognize it.
Alright.
I don't want to touch that thing.
So should we close this up? Can I try to do like a woodworking roll for just closing this thing up so it isn't
Is nothing
wildly
else?
obvious that
Yeah.
I'm smashing it open?
Sure.
Nothing else in there?
Nope, just that.
There isn't probably actually woodworking, but I want to try and just close it.
Sure. I say, what do we have? Let's see. That's closest thing is probably going to be...
Art craft any?
Yeah, but it's not as hard as trying to do actual art. So,
Sleight of hand? You're trying to like...
Yeah, in fact, let's just... I'll call it combined, but just roll strength or dex. We'll call it a combined roll for strength and dexterity. So we'll compare the result to both of those, and we'll see what happens.
Up, up, up.
So
You're doing it, not
do you
me.
want to? Oh, both me? Okay.
Yep. It doesn't matter what you pick. Roll either one, I'll compare it to both. In my head!
Rolling the both.
You're fine. Yeah. Yeah, because... So the combined roll, the idea is you just roll once and it gets compared to two different stats or
sorry.
skills.
Okay.
But 58 is a success for both dex and strength. So you do as good a job as could reasonably be expected of closing it in such a fashion that it's not obvious it was opened.
Right. At least not by just looking at the crate.
Yep.
All right. Denny's going to look at Lois and then look at the big crate and then look back like,
Let's do it.
Well, I'll be ready for that. I have my baton handy.
all right,
Let's see what other weird things I got in here.
try and get it open.
It's weirdos.
All right.
Weird crap.
One sec. Yeah, so on the front of this crate, well, what you decided is the front largely because of this, are stenciled the words Ho Fang Import Export, 15 Kaoyang Street, Shanghai, China.
Oh, we have that address, right?
I am putting in the chat.
Not that address, but it's close. The one that we have is like Lantern Street, which is probably a little more touristy than Kaoyang Street G. Word.
And then in smaller letters stenciled underneath that, it reads, Attention Honorable Ho Fang. You also see quite a few characters that you probably recognize as Chinese. Well, surmise are Chinese, though they're definitely Southeast Asian. I don't think anybody has any familiarity with any languages from Southeast Asia, so you've got no chance of reading them. But you identify them, I will say, with some confidence as Chinese, given,
Right.
the context here.
To be totally honest, Denny has probably only heard of one country from that area, whether it's Japan or China or anywhere else, Korea, that it's going to look like the one.
It's all China.
So if he knows about China, then he's going to say, well, that's Chinese.
Perfect.
I was gonna say it looks Oriental to
Right.
me.
Yeah, that's the language I was thinking of. Yes.
I think they're speaking Asian.
Right. That one language.
Pop it open.
All right, let's try opening up the top. Again, starting, from more of the back, so that if they do open it from not the back, maybe they won't notice that it had been opened once already. I don't know.
So what you've got is the crate is tall enough that opening the top is inconvenient. It
Okay.
looks like the front where it's stenciled is what's designed. I mean, you can attack the top. It's not like super tall, but it's tall enough that it's coming up to like mid-face to get to the top of it. It looks like it's designed for the front to be pried off, but it is totally up to you what you want to do, obviously.
Yeah, I want to know what's in it. I don't want to necessarily access what's in it. So I'm gonna try, and I can maybe move a chair over just to make it a little easier. Try to get the top open via the part that's up near the wall,
Sure.
so that if they do tear this thing open, hopefully it's opened in a way that leaves it so that they don't necessarily know that it was open once before.
Sure. So just give me a flat strength check.
Oh, what a roll.
Nice.
Poking out.
So, no problem at all. It's a little tougher than perhaps you expected, insofar as it becomes clear that this is not where it was intended to be opened, so it's fastened in just a this is permanent sort of way. But you have no problem working. It's still just nails and wood. You've been working with wood and nails for, well, literally as long as you can remember.
Right.
And with the crowbar, not a problem. You just pry the lid off. It's easy enough to pull a chair over so you can get a look kind of down into it. You don't see much detail. There's some packing material, and you're kind of looking down on like a round conical shape from above. that is almost as big as the inside of the crate. You can't see much past it. Looks like it's brass, but kind of corroded. And it's not that much lower than you. So you're looking down on it. It's 12, 18 inches below the top lip of it that you're looking down at this thing.
Okay. But it's like a complete cone. So it's not a cup. It's a flat surface that then it's solid.
Other way, peek up. It's like you're looking down at a perfectly circular, very shallow mountain.
Got it. Okay. Can I see any writing or anything on it?
Not on the top, at least.
Okay. I'll try and scoop around some of the packing material or something just to see if there's anything going on with this thing. Is there writing or pictures, or does it change shape as you get further down?
It's not a mummy, at least.
So you look down at it, you scoop out sort of packing material from around it. You don't see any writing or iconography or anything on the surface itself that you see. It's kind of pitted and corroded. Not completely,
right.
But, as you kind of feel around underneath it a little bit, you can sort of feel there are apparently things descending from whatever this is, with a quick feel. Yeah, you can sort of tell they're vaguely cylindrical, probably, I don't know, inch and a half across. And you can find several of them, going around it. They're all over around the inside.
Like table legs.
Yeah, but a lot of them, and there are some further in and some further out. But it's really all you can make out, given what you're doing.
All right. So Denny will relay, it seems like it's a cone with a lot of feet or legs on it that hold it up off the floor. But
it's a broad, really shallow cone, because it's not a big, tall thing. It's probably about this tall, but comes to a peak and then out to just broad circle.
Is it hollow in the middle, like it's a dish?
It's pointed
hard
up.
to tell. As he gets his hands underneath it, he can feel the things descending from it, but it's hard to tell beyond that. There's the things coming down are kind of in the way of his fingers.
What is it?
able to describe. It's like a really flat cone with a lot of, and they're not super long.
They're long enough that you're not reaching the bottom of them,
Okay, so
and they're not
but it's
perfectly
like
straight. You can
like
feel
a
them kind of curving.
it's like a table, but it's a cone for the tabletop, and they're not all super straight table leg.
And way more than four of them. Like they're all the way around. Like everywhere you're putting your hands, you're finding some of whatever these are.
Does this seem familiar as a ceremonial object that Adele would have seen, read about?
No.
Okay.
No. Given what you've got here, there's not even a roll to be had.
All right, unless we want to like try to take one of these things, I want to close this up too. I'm tired of touching it.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with it until we know what it is.
Yeah.
Do we have a good enough description to be able to research it? Is the question.
Almost certainly not.
Yeah.
Because at the most, Danny's been able to interact with, assuming that it is roughly the height of the crate, the top like 10-15% of it. There's like most of it, you have no idea what's in the crate beneath this very top portion.
At this point, unless Gavigan's going to come down, we've got time. The only real threat is that this thing is like a turret or something crazy. Might as well pull it out, let's take a look, and then we'll repack it with care and so on. So we can at least research it.
Sure. So with the lid taken off, we should be able to carefully try to take off the front, I guess. I mean, we're going to spill all this stuff out. We're going to have to do a fair amount of cleanup. But yeah, we can get going on it.
Cool. It is, as you say, easy enough to pop the front off. And there is less packing material than you were concerned about. Some, obviously, there's some that kind of comes out, but not as much as may have been, may have worried you. At this point, unless you are consciously averting your eyes, I need the doctor and Adele to make sanity rolls.
I see it from the hidden door.
Yeah. This room, there's nowhere hidden in the room. I guess under the desk might work, but it's not that full a room. Nice. You're both fine. Denny and Lois, you recognize this as a larger version of the statue that's on the shelf, except in addition to the bloated, sort of diseased, large wound figure, she is now wearing a rice picking hat with just a nest of snakes that descend from it and are writhing around each other, obscuring the top third of her body.
What is this?
It's the same statue that I saw on the shelf, but much larger, almost like person-sized. But she's wearing a coolie hat with snakes just erupting out the bottom of it.
That's not what's in the large crate. That was the.
It is what's in the large crate.
I thought you said it was like some dish.
It's a cone. A broad, shallow cone.
You're seeing the top of the hat.
Oh, okay. I was picturing like a giant brazier thing.
Right.
Yeah. I was picturing it, upside down.
Okay. So we were like all inspecting the elephant from different pieces.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what were the things all around it that he was feeling that were like tubes?
Snakes are just boiling out from the underside of the hat.
Snakes.
Twisting around each other, descending down, obscuring the top third of this figure's body.
The doctor's confident that the guy is not in the room anymore and will walk over and do as best he can at some thorough investigation if there's a hidden gem in the eye or something of the like.
Sure. First, give me a spot hidden. As you're investigating it, nothing like that. Nothing like just like a gem for an eye or a carved cool insignia or anything like that, is apparent to you. As you touch the surface, it's surprisingly cold. Like, more so than you'd expect, even if it's solid brass. You'd expect that to be cold to the touch and never warm up, like, testing if the wall is made of actual marble or not. Does it warm up under your fingers? This would not if it's solid brass, but it is even colder than it should be given the ambient temperature. It's just pulling heat out of your hand, and it feels oily and slick under your fingers, though you see no trace of moisture or anything else on it. It looks like just brass, and kind of corroded rough brass at that, but it feels slick and sort of slimy under your fingers. But as you're standing there close to it, and certainly as you're touching it, you get an odd sort of feeling. Give me an occult roll.
Oh no.
Occult or mythos, your pick.
It's gonna eat you.
Yeah, it's not clear what it is, but there's a distinct difference as you got closer to it, and then even more as you touched it. Something here feels different.
Would it be metagaming to know that Adele is more adept at these kind of things and call her over?
No, it doesn't seem odd. She's the expert in the occult and the weird, and this is definitely weird. Like, you have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels weird, and not weird in I'm sick for a reason I can't identify, or I'm anxious. Like, there's a strange sensation you've got. So no, not at all.
Okay.
She's your area expert on the weird.
I'll look at Adele and call her over and say, "Take a look at this thing. It's fun."
Can I roll occult, or does it have to be a mythos?
No, you can roll occult.
Good, because I got a 75.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so as you get close, do you reach out and touch the statue or not?
Yes, I'm gonna feel it or unruffle the negative energies or whatever.
All right. As you get close, you do feel a sort of familiar tension, like there's a certain sense of potential in the air around you, and as you touch it and get that same cold, slick, slimy feeling in your fingertips, it becomes very clear. You understand that proximity to this statue makes the exercise of at least some kinds of magic easier. It does not feel like good magic.
Yeah, it's not good happy magic. It's bad
Right.
magic. I want to do like that medium from Poltergeist. Like, there's something evil here.
Yes, it's there, and you can tell there's not. It doesn't feel like something's trying to come through or is examining you or anything like that. You don't feel any consciousness, but you feel a potential, an easing here, where there are some kinds of magic that you're reasonably certain would be easier in proximity to this, that you are more likely to succeed at some sorts of magic just by standing here near it.
Like an evil ley line.
Yep. You give me a mythos roll, and you might be able to get more information if you succeed on it.
Yeah, I'll spend my luck.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, as you're there and thinking about it and touching it and feeling sort of these almost like field lines around it, it puts you in mind of that disastrous seance you held and the feeling of pulling something through from somewhere else. And you're fairly certain that that's the kind of magic that would be easier here. Perhaps not pulling that specific thing through, but there is something you could try and call to here, something you could reach out to, and you would be more likely to get a response in this place than any others.
I mean, it was a pretty successful seance.
I mean, it was super successful at certain things.
I didn't say unsuccessful. I said disastrous. Worked great.
Disastrous.
Nothing like.
I didn't say there was nothing better. I said there was nothing like it.
How large is this statue?
Big. It is almost head height on you in this crate. And not that you've tried to lift it, but just touching it and feeling it not move in the slightest. It weighs a lot.
Well, that's unfortunate. We should probably start getting it back in there unless we want to deduce. I feel like we know what it does, ish, and we can look up. We can like research later.
Yeah. The only thing is if we know where it is right now, and if we need to come back and move it, it might be gone, but we can't do anything with it. It's just, it sucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I asked how heavy it was, or how big it was, because if it was like yay big, I'd say just throw that in one of our bags and let's get the hell out of here with it. But
Yeah, no. This is... Without trying to actually lift it, you're not going to get a real great read on how much it weighs, but for perspective, this feels like it's not immobile, but it's mobile the way, like, a full-size refrigerator is mobile. Like, yeah, you can move it. It's not, attached to the earth, but you're not just picking it up and walking out with it. This would be a thing you're moving.
Refrigerator made entirely out of copper.
Yeah.
try to get a fridge out of a coal chute going up, and then not be spotted as we leave the property.
Yep.
Quietly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not that it's immobile. It's just not what anyone would describe as portable.
And this is not the feeling they got from the smaller.
No.
Smaller one? Okay.
The smaller one was quite off-putting to look at. It was disturbing to see, but you got no strange feelings or anything notable from it aside from gross.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was going to point out that you also can't drink it, which means it's also not potable.
Thank you.
Just for the record.
Helpful.
Yeah.
All right. The doctor
So-
will suggest we close her up, eh?
Yeah, let's get this thing packaged up. Denny's gonna focus on making sure that, so we'll get everything put back as well as normal with the front piece of the crate, and then Denny's going to make sure to collect up all of the packing material that may have spilled out or anything and put it in through the top,
Sure.
and then the top of the crate.
With a fine tooth.
Yep. Easy enough to do. Give me a quick spot hidden. With a bonus die, in fact.
Oh, how do I do that?
Quick spot. Oh,
Something is wrong.
locked
If
her.
it doesn't prompt, we can always just roll a second d10 and figure it
Yeah,
out.
it doesn't give us the
Yeah, we're not
opportunity.
getting the opportunity.
Huh. Well, you succeeded anyway. I'll see if I can track down how to get it to prompt you for that, so we can do that in future if it matters. Nice. 235s. Yeah, you spot a couple stray pieces of packaging after you got everything back in and kind of close the front up, and you do a second pass around, look, you find a few more scraps and chuck them in before closing it again.
Part of me wanted to like knock the floating shelf down and put this on top of it, and then pack the little one in the box. But let's not do that.
Just putting back everything the way we found it.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta draw a mustache on the grotesque snake lady statue.
So all of this is to hide that we've been here, right?
Say again?
All of this, like we're putting everything back, closing boxes, putting things back, etc., to hide that we've been here and have looked at things.
Right.
Yet we've stolen a gun from his hand drawer.
So it's not stolen until we leave with it.
I'm just saying.
I'm just
Denny, lumberjack and lawyer.
Yes, good point for law.
right
That's-
now just making sure nobody else uses it on us or anyone else.
I'm not saying don't leave with it. I'm just making sure everybody's aware of what the goal is, perhaps, and what we are doing.
Right. So, yeah. Is there anything else we want to do in here?
Is that all the crates?
Yeah, wasn't there an ornate chest?
Yes.
There's an ornate chest and a bookcase that you have not yet looked at.
Oh, I have good library use. I'll look at the bookcase.
I could take a gander at the chest.
All right. We'll start with the chest because it is shorter. So you look at the chest. It's a pretty well decorated thing of intricately carved sandalwood inlaid with silver, etches. I don't know what the word is for drawings of inlaid silver.
These are just lays.
Silver inlays, depicting, we'll say, unwholesome creatures. Kind of a cross between a silverback gorilla and some kind of very large lizard with oddly long arms. You can give me a mythos roll to see if you recognize them, I suppose.
Might as well. Shit.
You do not. You open the box, and inside, nestled in a velvet cushion clearly designed specifically for them, are two ornate silver daggers.
Ooh.
Oh, we're stealing those, right? Okay. Upon closer inspection of the daggers, are they also engraved or inlaid with depictions of things?
Let me see if I actually have art of those. It's not impossible, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're similar to the curved daggers that were being used previously by a cult.
Well,
They are not. These are much more normal in the sense that they have a single blade.
I'm thinking this guy's got scheduled trucks, which is lining up with these groups of people going to and from someplace, or just from someplace. He's got a statue, which is likely used in some sort of ritual as a catalyst or an answer. And he's got daggers, which are like everything we've read about all this stuff is like sacrificial this, sacrificial that. I'm thinking they're going to be doing some sort of sacrifice to call on something.
Now, the truck may have just been to deliver the safe. But
It's a 6-month contract.
Yeah, it's a rental for half a year.
Yeah, they're snatching people with trucks too.
Because the safe, I think, was like a delivery receipt. They just like got it and that's it.
okay, so that
We
wasn't
haven't found the
Got
safe
it.
yet.
Okay. I don't have art for the daggers, I'm afraid. They don't have anything on them that matches like the imagery on the box itself. They don't have anything on them that explicitly matches like the deer or bat or symbol on the other crate or anything else that you've noted here in the room or elsewhere. They are the grips and hilts are intricately carved with filigree and small pieces of art that seem more abstract than anything else. You can see, if you look at it and try to see them, you can see sort of pieces that are evocative of figures, but nothing that is particularly representative of anything you recognize. Aside from being well crafted, the blades themselves seem otherwise unremarkable. They're in excellent shape. They're 6-8 inches long, tapered, double-edged blades. Seem quite sharp, but otherwise
more modern than ancient.
Yeah, they just seem. I mean, the shape they're in would indicate modern. I don't know if anybody has. I mean, I guess archaeology, maybe. If somebody wants to roll archaeology and see if they can get a feel for them.
Yeah, 39 in archaeology, but I rolled a 72.
I got it.
Yeah, you can't tell. Their condition doesn't seem to indicate any particularly great age. They certainly could be new, but you don't see anything on there that's telltale of the modern era. You don't see like pop rivets or power tool marks or anything on them where, well, this was clearly made, just up the street in some foundry. Hard to tell.
Can move on to the bookshelf.
Okay.
And I think, Adele, were you looking at the bookshelf then?
Yes.
Right. Okay. You're looking at the bookshelf, which is a fine piece of fine furniture in walnut, which has several shelves behind glass of books and scrolls, as well as a small stone jar tucked away between a couple of the volumes. You can recognize, just from the spines, some books in German, French, Russian, Latin, Spanish, and 2 in English, along with a total of 15 scrolls.
What are the 2 in English? What are the titles?
Musings on the Outer. I didn't know.
Musings on the Outer?
Yep.
Okay.
And The Reality of Unreality.
Adele works in weird occult book circles. Are these like unknown rare things, or are they, if you go into a kooky incense shop, they might have something like this?
You've never heard of them.
Do I know the authors?
No author is listed on either,
Okay.
at least on the spines.
If I open one of the scrolls, what language are they in?
Let's see. So you've got 3 in Arabic, 4 in Latin, 2 in French, 1 in Old English, and let's see, 1 more in Greek, 1 in hieroglyphs, And 3 more in Arabic.
English, Englishy enough to read.
Yes.
Am I gonna
Unfurl it and give it a read.
I don't want to summon any snake demons. I'm not going to read it out loud, but yeah.
Okay. The one in Old English reads as a poem, sort of an ode. Well, a poem of praise more than an ode, I suppose, to something named the Lord of the Woods.
Should we bring this with us? Will it be really obvious if I take 1 or 2 of these scrolls?
That's hard to say. There are 15 total. It's not a huge number. It's more than 3. So, but
All right, I'm gonna take the one in English, and I'm gonna take the one in hieroglyphics.
all right. Give me an occult roll.
Oh, but it's a lot of luck to spend.
Yeah, you can push it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and push it. So, like, what's the purpose of this roll? I'm just taking it and putting it in my purse.
Yep.
But I don't know how to explain how I'm pushing it if I don't know what the purpose is. But I push it.
Oh, I see.
I don't know how to give it context.
Sure. It's just going to give you a vibe on one of the scrolls.
So, like a don't touch me vibe, and I push through anyway. Like, no, coming with me. Can I spend my 1 luck?
Not on a pushed roll.
God damn it. Alright.
So you take the scroll with the Egyptian hieroglyphs on it, and as you pick it up, you get a cold shiver up your spine and goosebumps down your arms. There's a feeling you're getting as you touch this, and it's odd, but also it's suddenly sort of familiar. It's that same feeling you had right before reality tore in the seance.
Okay.
Hey, Adele, you doing okay? You look a little funny.
Is that like noticeable to the party?
I don't know, how does Adele react? You don't have to collapse or anything like that, but you are having a physical reaction to touching this. I don't know if you feel like that is visible or noticeable to anybody else. Totally up to you.
Get a little pale and sweaty and clutch her, healing silver crystal necklaces.
Are you like a little bit smiling or a little bit afraid? Like, is this a...
No, like nauseous, sick.
All right.
Like smelled something really bad.
Hey, Adele, what smelled it, Adele?
Can I take the scroll anyway, or?
Sure. Absolutely.
All right. In fact, now I can never put it down. All right.
At this point, with that feeling and being sensitized to it, yeah, there is more. Not all of these books and scrolls are just books and scrolls.
Hmm.
What does that mean?
All right. Yeah, I'm hoping we can have someone read the one in hieroglyphs to tell us what it's about, and if we need to come back, if we haven't made a big impact such that they know we were here, we can try and get back in.
So you're taking the English one.
I took the English scroll and the hieroglyphs scroll, and I know the titles of the 2 books in English.
Do we want to take those 2 books?
And for a penny.
Yeah, maybe. Musings on the counter. Yeah, sure. I'll take the 2 books in English as well.
Okay.
Do we have any contacts here in London that could help us with any of those other languages?
Well, Denny speaks French.
Come on, you.
Should pocket those French scrolls.
Yeah, grab the French
I mean,
ones.
are we gonna clear this place out? Like, we're not gonna. It's likely we're not gonna be able to get back in here. Probably.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
then yeah. Scorched Earth. So there were
I
books.
don't want to take any cursed statues or any of that crap.
Yeah.
I don't have money, but books is.
I've
that's
clearly
not-
taken a cursed scroll.
How many scrolls can you fit in that purse?
So which Adele will point out the books and the scrolls in French, so we can at least know the title or what they're about and if they're worth taking.
1 second. So that. Oh, bugger. Sorry, there was one more English book that I missed. I will put. There are 3 English books. My apologies.
Okay.
Damn it, I can't type. 1Y.
Book of Dizan?
Yeah, Book of Zion. That is English and has a distinct smell of sulfur to it. The most notable French book. No. Can I do this? Oh, you're gonna make this a giant pain in the ass. Damn it, Windows.
Sorry.
No. It's I should have had this prepped and I did not. It's not a very effective prepping week for me. Yeah, I'll get the appropriate accents later, maybe. Well, that's somewhere in here. Yep. But I don't have the capital. Equinox divisé. There is also an accent graph over the capital E, but I can't find that quickly. So pretend the accent graph over the lowercase e at the end is also over the capital E that begins it. Just accept that as part of the fiction.
Okay.
So are we pocketing books, or are we trying to read them here?
No, we should get out of here. Right?
Just throw as
Yeah.
much crap in your purse as you can and skip the Adam.
Adele's a crystal kook. She has one of those giant, like, carpetbagger purses full of broken locks, evil scrolls, and books, and crystals, and probably some snacks.
In that case, I will short circuit a variety of things and just say the other book of note is the Liber Ivonis in Latin.
box. I'm gonna scuttle out with my little library and my cursed scroll.
All right.
Excellent.
I think that covers all the items to look at.
That leaves just the small stone jar in the bookcase.
Does anybody want to touch that?
I'll touch it. Pick it up and look at it.
Is it just
It
like
is.
an abstract shape, or is it shaped like a thing? Like a
No, it's just a jar.
figure?
Like, no, it's just a small, plain stone. I guess urn is a better word than jar, except jar implies like a screw top lid that has a
Like a
fitted lid in
disease
the top.
plate.
Okay.
Alright, I'm just gonna pick it up. Look at it. Smell it.
Cool. It's don't. It has no particular smell. It's a like slightly tapered stone jar with a round lid and just an opening on the top. It fits well. It's not crude in any way, but it's also not decorated.
Alright, I'm gonna open it.
Inside, you kind of lift the top up and look inside and see like a third to a half full of sort of a blackish, grayish dust, sort of reminiscent of ash, but clearly not ashes.
Mm.
I'm gonna take out a handkerchief and like get some of it and maybe a piece of paper or something.
Take
Make
it back to the lab.
Sure.
Yeah. Totally not going to like do the cocaine cop thing. I'm gonna rub it on my gum. Just I'll resist the urge.
Congratulations, you've summoned an ancient deity in your mouth.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, like a tablespoon or something. Just
Okay.
tap it out.
Cool. Easy enough. You
Put it in
have
my
a handkerchief with some black gray dust in it.
All right. Nobody snorting. Okay, that's everything in this room.
All right, let's start listening again see if we can figure out where the
Where the guard would be.
guard
where,
is.
Like what you've been paying attention to things on your watch, Denny.
Yeah, so the amount of time since he came through the basement to now has been approximately what? Quarter after, I think.
Give me just
12:15.
an intelligence roll. There's been a lot going on. How well have you been tracking the time?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it is comparatively easy to time. I don't know exactly how long it's been, but let me know what you're going to try and do, and you will have a good enough sense of the time. You can specifically checking your watch to try and time it as well as you can, just based on watching the rounds.
So while we're waiting and listening, I'm going to say, so are we going to want to leave through the coal chute like we came in?
Same way we came in.
Ideally.
Okay. So what we're going to do is wait for him to come through the basement, and then he will go upstairs somewhere. We're not sure exactly where in all of this he's going to be. He's going from the basement to the first floor or the basement to outside. But
Me a second intelligence roll.
But we knew his routine.
Oh God.
Huh.
Cool. Yeah, that is what you. I mean, you know. So what you know is the rough times and the order lights turn on and off.
Right.
That's what you've got. And Denny has been paying close enough attention to his watch. He's got a good sense of the times. But again, this is not a robot. It's not exactly 5 minutes outside and exactly 20 minutes each floor. It's just approximately that. So there is potentially some drift.
Right. So once he comes downstairs to the basement, goes through, and then apparently leaves, he'll go somewhere other than the basement. We will go to the coal chute, and we will get somebody up through the coal chute to see if he has started to go around outside or if he is inside. The hope is that we'll be able to get a sense, and then if he's not outside, we will then try to extract out and see if we can get the last person up out through the coal chute, which may not be super easy. We'll see. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
So we will open the secret door to listen for when he's going to be coming through. And then when he comes down to the basement, we'll close the door, listen. Because
Start
the
the
other,
loop over again.
we'd be able to try and escape up out through the sarcophagus while he's down here. But that just seems more risky.
But then we have to go out the front door.
Right. I mean, theoretically, then we just walk out and leave the door unlocked.
Right.
Say
But-
leaving is a little easier
Yes.
that way.
And honestly, we're going to be leaving. We've already left a big clue that someone was here, so we wouldn't even have to lock it. Just like walk out, leave the door open. Wouldn't matter.
Well, we don't want. I mean, we got a getaway car waiting for us.
Right.
We don't
Yeah,
want
we need.
the alarm like 5 minutes after we leave because we might still be lurking around
Yeah.
in the tree line.
Well, walking home.
We won't be long gone. We should shut the door and
Yes.
do what we can to disguise our presence for now.
Yeah,
Someone's
hopefully
gonna.
they won't discover we've been here for, I don't know, at least a day.
Right.
If someone comes down here tomorrow morning and notices books missing or their gun gone,
Someone's
So-
snorting their mummy powder.
Gun being gone might hopefully imply that it's just a burglary, but
yeah, but books being gone and not money.
Right. But people, was there money?
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's $2,000.
£2,000 at the desk.
that's what made him laugh that we're not going to take the money, but we're going to take the gun.
That would make it look more like a burglary.
Yeah.
Wait.
I'm going to take the money.
Should we
You go to take the money and it's not there.
Okay.
wait? What?
What do you mean it's not there?
Not there.
Just there a second ago.
Uh-oh.
Well, you must have been mistaken. It wasn't there because it's not there now.
When do you guys take the money?
I did not take the money.
There was money here.
What does that mean?
Means when you guys took the money.
Is it apparent that the group is worried about the money missing?
Or there wasn't money missing. I don't know.
Then when you guys take the money?
Is this supernatural stuff?
I don't care if someone took the money.
Okay.
From the money.
If the group is concerned, actively concerned about the money missing, the doctor will open up his jacket pocket and show £2,000.
Okay, good.
I just wasn't sure, like, if something supernatural was happening, like the money's gone, they're onto you. It's all a trap.
Kidding.
The money
You
was the
guys
catalyst.
drink later,
Yep.
Doc. I don't care. Just
Okay, good. So,
be
yeah.
hiding stuff.
So let's stick with the plan. We will listen for him. Once he finishes his basement rounds and goes upstairs, we will then begin making our way to the coal chute.
Should we leave all the drawers open so it looks like a freaking burglary then?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do that.
Yeah, toss the place.
We will attempt to extricate ourselves.
Cool. All right. It is, given the doctor's role earlier, knowing what he's listening for, it is easy enough to listen for the door, follow the whole routine, identify when the storage room door opens, and a couple minutes later when the storage room door closes. We'll say we've skipped ahead to you've just heard that door close.
All right. So Denny will open the secret door and make his way to the other door and listen to it to hear if he's headed up to out of the basement.
All right. Give me a listen roll. Nice. Pressing your ear to the door, maintaining as much silence as you can. You hear the sound of footsteps moving around the other side of the door. Eventually you hear the sound of a door opening and then shortly after closing.
All right. Denny will ease this door open and see if there's anything going on that's visible in the rest of the basement.
So you ease the door open. Note that your flashlight will be the only source of light down here. So you can either shine the flashlight out and see what you can see, or easing the door open doesn't give you much additional information without it, but it's up to you.
Easing the door open will show if there's light down there.
There is not. Sorry, you ease the door open and it is pitch dark in the room.
Yeah, okay. So Denny will turn the light on, point it back in towards the secret door, and motion that we'll be able to make our way, and we'll begin to make his way to the coal chute.
Cool. So you all kind of gather up around the coal chute.
All right, who's the wobbliest that will have the most trouble getting up out of the coal chute? Because that's who's going to get the most help.
I'm very good at lifting people, so I
It might
can.
be a doctor.
Dex? Strength?
Oh, yeah.
The doctor has 55 strength, 45 dex, 40 power. He's a pretty frail dude.
All right, let's get you up.
See you.
All right, Doc.
Uppies.
We're going to lift you up there, but if you see something and you need to come back down, you wiggle your right foot, all right?
Sounds good.
Also,
You'll probably hear the shotgun first, but I'll do that.
This additional help will cost you 500 pounds. Work it over.
Just don't have it on me. Sorry. Anyway.
Fresh out.
Okay. I'll get the old boost, eh?
All right. So you get the boost and kind of wiggle your way up the coal chute. With the boost, reasonably straightforward, not terribly comfortable. There's little effort involved. You have some concerns about people making it up without assistance, since it is just kind of a steel hole that leads down. But you don't have a problem. You haul yourself up and into the yard. Give me a spot hidden with a bonus die.
You don't see it.
Will do.
What's your spot hidden? 70? Yes, okay.
Okay.
So you come up out of the hole and haul yourself up into the yard. Look around. The gate is hanging wide open.
Oh no.
Oh, Jesus. Can I see a flashlight or anything like that?
Not at the moment.
Cool. That's just gonna make me want to move faster. I will quickly pop out the shotgun shells, toss them in my jacket pocket, smash the shotgun back together, and hand it down so somebody can grab onto it and I can pull them up.
We get caught, pretend to be a drunk taking a leak.
I'll do that. But right now I'm halfway in the chute.
Did
Yep.
you unload the gun or load the gun?
He unloaded it.
Unloaded it.
Alright.
And with halfway down the chute, head kind of peering off into the distance, see if I see any waggle of a light in the yard. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but something will happen.
Sure.
And I'm reaching down to pull somebody back up.
All right. Adele's next.
All right.
Yep.
Toss up my book-filled bag and shimmy on up.
Sure. With the assist, not a problem. Get on up.
Go.
It's what, the 20s? I'm sure one of us has a pack of that terrible like blackjack gum or something. Can we like chew some and put it in the lock too? Make it look like it's closed.
Perhaps, if you're
We're not-
running over the gate.
If you're what?
If somebody goes over to the gate, yeah. Right now, the
Sure.
doctor is holding you up out of the coal scuttle.
Right. So once I get out, if the coast is still clear, I think I'm stronger than he is. I have a strength of 80, so I'll give him the gum. You go fix the gate, and I'll help haul people up.
Cool. I'll break my shotgun, throw 2 shells in it.
Alright,
Just
Lois.
quietly
Next.
latch it and move to the corner of the building as they continue hauling.
Okay.
All right.
And I'll haul up.
Lois is coming up next.
All right.
Shit.
So, Doc, you are at the side of the building, at the corner of the building, sort of shotgun at the ready. Adele, you're pulling Lois up, and Denny, you are at the bottom,
Helping
giving
up.
Lois the hoist. Giving Lois a hoist. Excellent.
Lois
You'll-
anymore?
Make it up. As you are being pulled up by Adele, and you're standing there pulling her up, the door in the back wall swings open, and you see the beam of a flashlight play out into the yard.
Is there any shrubbery to hide in?
Really? No.
Can I get a gauge on like a normal walking speed of like, do I have a minute? Do I have 10 seconds?
To do what?
Run.
Something. I don't. It's something.
Before he approaches.
Before he turns the corner on me.
Oh, did you go around the corner?
No. Sorry. So back of the building, shoot, main door, corner, side yard.
Yeah.
He came straight out the back.
Well, the back door has just opened, and a flashlight is coming out through it.
In the same wall
That's
we're
the
on.
same wall as.
Yes.
Yep.
On
Yeah.
one side is Adele pulling Lois up. On one other side is me looking the other corner. Oh God.
So
Oh dude.
You guys got to roll fewer hundreds, man.
Oh dude.
is there a way for...
Ooh.
Okay, so I guess, I'm sorry, I'm so bad like visualizing
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
where things are. Is it possible for me to quick run towards the street and make a distraction out there, like help Masher?
Okay, let me provide the visual here. This new rectangle is the area you are coming up out of. You're crawling up out of that pit. The door is there, and the doctor is over here.
What do you mean
gate
the door?
is up here. What?
What do you mean the door?
The
Door
door
that-
in the back of the building that has just opened that the flashlight is coming out through.
There's
Oh.
a main back door.
Okay. And then the gate is up here.
Yep. It's a little further away than it looks here, but this is the general layout.
So
You
he'd see
right
you
now
coming from the building if you did that.
are
It
there.
almost-
The dock is there. This door that goes into the building has opened, and you can see a flashlight coming out through it.
It'd be
So we
almost
were-
better for us to make for the corner of the building and
Yeah.
get away.
Do we remember what his rounds are like? Does he go west or does he go east?
Give me an intelligence check, both you and the doctor.
Is Lois out yet?
You are halfway through the coal chute. You are hanging from.
Okay. Adele, come on.
Was that about rolling fewer 100s?
All right. Anyway, guess I'll die. See you guys next week.
So the doctor will remember that he tends to go clockwise around the yard, so he's likely to turn right towards the doctor. Your luck right now is simply not in, however, and as you're trying to pull Lois up, the flashlight comes right across you, Adele, and you can see the guard behind it looking straight at you as you're down trying to pull up Lois.
All right.
Do I see? Can I see something? Like, can I see
You
light
see my
through
butt.
there?
Lois has stopped moving. You can probably see a little light. It's not going to be real clear to you what's going on, but something has changed because Lois is now just stopped.
You're wet. Why is it wet?
I'm being quiet because I'm trying to hear what's.
Okay, I'm still playing the game. Good day.
Yeah, against all of his intuition, since he's not a burly man Hulk, the doctor's gonna drop his shotgun on the ground, not in such a way that it's going to shoot off.
Sure.
And as the guard's looking this way, he looks this way. I'm behind him now.
Yep.
Presumably didn't notice me.
He does not seem to have. His attention went immediately over to Adele.
And he's, from what I can see, he's only got a flashlight. He's not just like
Yep.
doing this. Okay. I am going to just run up and all fours pounce on his back and try to put him in a. I don't want to kill the guy, but I also don't want him to make any sort of loud noise.
Sure. Okay.
Grapple.
And I'm gonna.
If I released Lois, would she drop back through the coal chute, or is she out enough that she would get out?
She'll have a roll to get out.
Okay.
Punch this guy.
This is all kind of happening at the same time, so yeah, everybody can tell me what you're doing, so we'll all then kind of.
All right. Yeah, if I see the DVD jumping on this guy's back, I'll try and give Lois a quick yank to get her out fast, and then try and help with subduing the guard.
All right. Then Adele, give me a strength check. Make sure I remember how maneuvers work.
Oh, Lord above. Anyway, I'm gonna lay down and die.
You need some different crystals, man.
Yeah.
That you can use luck on or push if you're of a mind.
Oh, dude, the odds are in your favor on a push. 100.
Yeah, I'll push, I guess. It's so bad.
Oh, let's go.
Nice. Nice. So as you begin to reach down, you're trying to give her the extra yank, and she stopped and is caught a little bit by surprise and shifts, and for a second you almost lose your grasp on her, but you manage to tighten up and just haul. Lois, you were prepared to drop back down. Something has clearly gone wrong, and whatever's up there, it's probably better down here, you're thinking, but all of a sudden you are hauled up and are damn near flown out of this pit. Adele manages to pull you up in such a way that not only do you get out, but you get out and you are landed on the ground on your feet and will have full action. Denny is still,
Denny's screwed.
an open question.
I mean, Denny's not doing anything because he still doesn't really know what's happening.
Yeah, now, well, in a second here, as this is all happening at the same time, so let me get a quick, make sure I get the maneuver right here. Doc, what is your size?
Questions.
Or build, I should say.
Build is 0, unfortunately.
Okay.
Happened at the old Emporium in New York as well. Didn't work out well then.
So you are going to make a brawl check flat. Yes, because you would have a penalty die because you're a build lower than him, but I'm giving you a bonus die because he has no idea you're there and you're just trying to get like on his back. So it's a brawl check. That's not great.
Okay. This all happening like at midnight.
You charge forward and attempt to jump on his back and get your arms around him. And as you begin to hit him, he just sort of shifts automatically, turns a little bit, throws an elbow back into you. You don't take any damage, but the wind's knocked out of you a little bit and you kind of stumble backwards. And the flashlight poof, over to you, and he begins to shout, like, what's going on? Hey, that kind of just nothing really content worthy, just he is now shouting at you.
Blimey this,
So-
bloody that.
For
Now,
blimey.
Denny would like to do something.
Yes, Lois has now at this point flown us. Everything that happened kind of simultaneously has now happened. Lois has just
Feet go whoop.
flown out of view. She's whoop out. With her out of the way, you were able to see the light. It was a little unclear before because the outside is lit, but you've seen the light. Now that it's moved away, you see the clear change, and you saw light move, and now you hear the guard shouting, "Hey, who are you?" kind of thing. You're up, slugger.
Denny will run as fast as he can up to get into the main floor of the building.
He's gonna go the easy way.
The intent is to go up into the main floor of the building and like knock over a plant, smash some stuff, make noise so that hopefully the guard will be more interested at what's happening inside than what's happening outside, because there's only one of them.
All right. Then let's have you... What do we call this? Because if you're dedicating the whole thing to it, we can have you move further than normal. That's not a problem. You're right there. You have to go all the way around, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not trying to get to him.
No, I understand.
Okay.
The problem is you're in the coal scuttle.
Oh yeah,
You are...
yeah. I'm here.
No, you're here.
Oh,
Because here's where the chute comes in. So to get
Oh.
over to the door, you have to go down over this wall
Yep.
and around into the main room.
yeah, got it. Though the wall's only half a wall, right?
That wall's a full wall. This is
Oh.
the low wall for loading the coal
Got it.
into the furnace, which is like here-ish.
Sounds good.
So I'm just going to give you just a straight strength check to full-on sprint, pull around the wall, and get over to that door. And if you can pass a hard strength check, you'll make it all the way.
Okay.
Less than that will mean you don't quite make it this turn.
And
Will do. That's plenty. So you got the fear of God in you. You haven't been this ready to act since the war, honestly. You book down the wall, slam a hand on it, haul yourself around and hurl yourself at the door on the far side, blow it open, sprint up the stairs, 3-4 stairs at a time, and you find yourself in one of the small study rooms towards the back of the building with a window on the exterior wall.
Okay. So I assume number one, he was smashing those stairs. So there's hopefully some sound there. And
you
then,
make plenty of sound.
yeah. And then if there's any sort of plants or vases or anything like that to knock over, he's just knocking paintings off the wall, like anything.
Cool.
And then I guess once he's like the main thing is to get to that. There's a main hallway that goes back to the door where he came out,
Mhm.
and one at the other end where we originally came in yesterday, the day before. So if I get up to that front door while making an enormous mess the whole way, I'll see if he heads back.
Okay.
And pull him.
So you're in this room, you've got a window on the exterior wall and a door on the opposite wall. If you open that door, if you were to go out that door, you would be like 5-10 feet away from him. You'll be basically right next to that back door. So you can decide what you're going to do there, because you've gotten all the way up.
Yeah.
You can call that everything you got done this turn,
Yep.
and we are now back out. We're going to make it his turn. He will effectively go last. He was caught by surprise by this whole thing.
Does Lois get a turner next time?
Yeah, you can do something. Yeah.
I mean, Lois would go at the guard too.
All right. Trying to do what?
Punch him in the head. Maybe
Okay.
Huh?
Just a straight brawl check.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Like, shut up.
Go to sleep.
He is going to attempt to dodge. On a dodge, he only has to tie, so it's not impossible. Odds are not in his favor.
Oh.
He fails.
Critical failure.
So on your just
I'm
unarmed
I know.
brawl
There's damn.
sheet real quick. Yeah, so roll a d3. You're just going to straight up punch him in the oldie facey. Yep, roll your damage. Cool. You rock him, and he's not on the verge of going down, but you sock him in the face, and he clearly takes it and is kind of dazed and staggers back a second. You've rung his bell, as they say.
And I do tell him to shush. So
Give me an intimidate check.
maybe he'll listen.
Yeah, that far off.
You won't push it.
You can use luck, not a push in this circumstance. It's
I
it's
would not put
essentially
it.
part of combat.
Yeah, I'm gonna start running out of luck soon if I'm messing with that.
Alright. We'll just keep smashing them.
So you
I have
punch him
more
in the face.
ability to keep punching him if need be.
The doctor has attempted to jump on him and been shaken off. He turns as he hears you coming and turns just in time for your fist to meet his face as he comes around. You just cold cock him from the side. You see him starting to lose his balance. He catches himself on the stairs and starts taking a couple steps back into the building. As he does, he pulls his whistle out of his pocket and just blows it. And it is a shrieking, warbling sound that feels like it must be audible for a mile around. It clearly isn't, but it feels astonishingly loud right now.
Get Denny out of here.
So, did any of them hear anything Denny was doing?
Sure. We can say you heard some commotion from inside. I won't make you roll listen checks for it. You were trying to be as loud as you could be.
Seem to have paid a mind.
What's that?
They seem to have paid a mind outside of being blasted in the face.
It's hard to tell, honestly. He's got a lot going on right now. You don't know exactly how much he's heard or what he plans to do about what he has heard after throwing one guy off and getting punched in the face by a lady that he didn't even really realize was there and is only now realizing has just almost decked him in one hit. He's not going to feel real good about that later. But right now, he's got kind of a lot of things happening. You don't know what his reaction is going to be to the commotion inside yet.
Okay.
But we will come back to the doctor.
All right. Shit. The alarms have been sounded. He's gonna, after being elbowed in the gut, he's gonna stumble back a bit and like almost fall, but catch himself with his arm, and then like stumble over to his shotgun, grab it, throw it on his back or under his arm, or however he carried him back then, and start making his way to the gate. I think.
Sure, if you're just going to sprint out, you can make it out the gate. That's not a problem at all.
I kind of want to just get to the gate and like take a look outside to see what the situation. I want to do like a sit rep situation.
Sure. All right, so you can get to the gate, and you just sort of poke through it far enough to sort of look around at the street. Now it's late. It's after 1 a.m. at this point. Probably closer to 2, honestly, given everything that you accomplished down there. So there's not a lot of people on the street. It's not busy, but as you look off to the right, you can see a couple gentlemen kind of coming around the corner up there. As you look off to the left, you see one guy in kind of laborer's clothes that is walking down the street away from you. As the whistle blasts, all three of them turn to look in the direction of the whistle, unsurprisingly. That is what you see at the moment. They haven't done anything yet, but this is, again, we're trying fairly quick, so you're not sure what they're going to do.
Yeah, and as I peep my head out, take a look, I'm going to look back at the group and just say, let's get the fuck out of here. And that's my turn.
Cool. We will come back to Adele. You have hauled Lois out. There's no sign of Denny. The doctor has moved to the gate, and Lois has taken a very effective swing at this guard, who has clearly had his bell rung as he's backing into the building and blowing his whistle.
Well, there is sign of Denny and weird crashing and smashing noises.
Right, sorry, I meant down where you're expecting to help pull him up. You don't see him there, but you do hear a commotion inside, which you can reasonably surmise, since you're the only people here, is Denny in some fashion.
I'm going to try to, let me know if this is too much stuff. Crack the guard in the face with my baton.
Okay.
And then run to the street and say, yeah, that way the scoundrel went that way, to try and get the people to run in the other direction. And I'm booking it in the other direction.
Cool. All right, so step 1, just give me a fighting brawl check.
Brawl.
Crikey.
What?
Insane. I guess it sort of makes up for last time where everybody was throwing crits all the time.
Right.
But I feel bad. This is
You
this
got
is a
some
bad night for you.
cursed crystal. Wait, what was the thing that gave you the heebie-jeebies back in the
Scroll.
Roll with hieroglyphic.
You got a cursed scroll, man.
Probably.
So you take a swing at the guard. It does not hit him. He rocks back out of the way. You begin to try and make your way out the gate to execute step 2 of this plan, and just straight up stumble on something in the yard and end up not making it. You stumble, can't catch yourself, and fall to the ground about halfway to the gate, landing on your shoulder in a kind of painful way, actually. But unfortunately, that will be all you can then accomplish this turn. Which will bring us to Denny and Lois. And go in whichever order you prefer.
I see that happen with Adele, and I go and scoop her up and start running in the direction she was going in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Adele, you feel yourself picked up by Lois. You kind of get hauled to your feet. It's a little, unceremonious. Not the most graceful thing. But you are on your feet and sort of physically hauled to the gate and out. Denny.
So Denny is going to run out the other direction
Okay.
and
Grab that whistle.
see if he no, not that end. About the other end, and see if he can get out of the fenced area.
Cool. So you book it out to the door. You're going to have to pause at the door because it is locked. You just have to work the locks. You can do it from the inside, but it takes enough that between that and the running, that's probably all you can get done this turn is get to the door and get it unlocked.
Sure.
You still wrecking the place on the way?
One more, just pushing in the direction away from the door.
Cool. All right.
Not leave footprints in dirt, basically.
Got it. Oh. The guard, as you're running down the hallway, the guard, who's about to take another blast on his whistle, hears something behind him, and you see him turn and look after you as you get to the door and begin unlocking it. You feel and see the flashlight, the beam of the flashlight, fall directly on you as he shouts again, "Hey, you!" and begins sprinting after you at the front door. Give him... Oh, that's not clicking at all. He does not quite make it to you, but it's going to be a close thing next go-round. Doctor, you see Lois physically just haul Adele up off the ground. Adele's feet almost not touching it as she's trying to run along, but Lois is just dragging her.
They're just taking turns firing each other around.
Exactly.
Like acrobats.
You see the guard, about to blow his whistle, interrupt himself, turn, see something inside, and just sprint away from the doorway.
Have the two made it outside of the gate already?
Hauling Adele, they're probably at the gate at this point. You're not really through it, but you're all, well, aside from Denny, obviously, the rest of you are all essentially at the gate.
Man, a meeting spot would have been great. I thought about it. All right, I will see them right next to me, and I'm just gonna take off in the direction that seems to be the easy. Like, if there's an alley across the street, I'm taking it. If there's not, I'm running up the street in a direction where I see that I could get as far away as possible from this place.
Sure, give me a spot hidden. Nice. You spot across the street a narrow but looks perfectly navigable alley between two buildings, just across and a little off to the left as you're facing. Just kind of jog off a little bit.
Cool. I'm just as fast as humanly possible. I'm
All right.
going that direction.
So you sprint off towards the alley. Not a problem. You can make it in there, and it is a reasonably clear shot between these buildings to the next street over.
As I run, am I able to see what the two guys on the right and the one guy on the left are doing? Are they just watching us, or are they like, "Hey, you stop," like trying to be good citizens, like a bunch of assholes?
The two guys over on the right look just sort of flummoxed. They're two relatively well-dressed gentlemen who just look like they're kind of at sea right now. The guy in the workman's clothes over there looks like he is starting to come this way and expects people to be stopping as he shouts things at them, though he is just getting going, as this has all caught him completely off guard.
Okay, in that case, I will stop at the mouth of the alley and wait. Like, presumably, the other two will follow. He'll come around, and I'm just gonna meet him right in the eyes with a shotgun. But that's my turn.
All right. Adele, you are at the gate. Lois is holding on to you, but presumably she's not trying to grapple you. So if you want to, do something else, you are free to do so.
I don't even know.
Running away. We see a dark alley.
Yeah, but these people are going to chase us.
Not if my shotgun has anything to say about it.
I'm trying to think of the cost of trying to have these people be distracted by misleading them, but I'm going to fail with my role. And now they've heard our voices, and we are clearly American, and it's easier to identify us. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll run.
All right, heading to the alley.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. With this map, I don't know. Whatever would make sense for her to go the fastest, darkest, quickest way out of here.
Sure, that would be following the doctor to the alley he's found on the other side of the street.
Okay.
And you get out of the yard, onto the street, and you can see the doc over there who has found a less public way to get out of here.
Sure.
We'll get your mojo back, Adele. It's okay.
Lois, then, as Adele takes off and
Yep.
scoots in behind the doctor.
Going the same way. Yep.
Cool. Same thing. Easy enough for you to get behind him. That will bring us to Denny and the guard.
All right. Denny is going to exit the building through the door,
Sure.
closing the door behind him. That's not a top priority, but if it's feasible to just do that as he's leaving, that's what he's going to do.
Sure.
And then he's going to run as fast as he can around the building in the direction of everybody else.
Cool. All right. So it is easy enough to try and just sling the door shut as you go past. It's just a door. If you wanted to try and secure it in some way, that would be harder and take more time. Okay.
Right.
So you book it out, try and slam the door behind you, and then take off to the right, let's say, and
Sure.
try and get around the corner back of the building. Let's just give you opposed dex. Just give me a dex roll, and I will roll dex for him.
Very nice.
All right.
Sorry,
So-
we're talking rolls.
You sling the door shut, and he clearly tries to stop it, but he doesn't quite get there in time. You hear it latch as you try and get around the corner. He works the latch and comes out the door, but by the time he gets out, you are no longer immediately in sight. He has to take a second just to process and decide what to do.
Play the flashlight around. Yeah.
Yeah, so he spends a long moment moving the flashlight around. Doesn't seem to catch sight of you. You make it into the backyard before he knows where you've gone, so it's easy enough for you to get out through the gate. And then it'll effectively be his turn, which we just did. So you can get just through the gate. You can see the doctor across the street. You can see two gentlemen off to your right, reasonably well dressed, who look just sort of frozen, mouths kind of, and one dude in working clothes over there who is starting to come this way at a bit of a run.
Yep. And Denny will, to end my turn, as I'm running in that direction, he will point back at the house or at the institute or whatever.
Cool. Let's see, we'll call that, I guess Intimidate is going to be closest. It's not exactly right. We'll call it Intimidate. The man doesn't seem particularly interested in where you're pointing. Like, he may be inclined to assume that whatever's going on in the posh building is a problem, but he has just seen three dirty people, one of whom has his head wrapped in gauze, come sprinting out of this gate with a shotgun, a whistle blowing. He figures the problem's right here more than in there.
And indeed it is. Come around that corner, boy.
Yeah, so he's gonna Yeah, it'll bring us to Denny. This guy hasn't moved, and Appreciate was a ways away. He started to move down the sidewalk, not at a dead sprint, but he's approaching Denny as we get back to the doctor's turn and kind of the mouth of the alley. Adele and Lois are behind you. You're looking out on the street in front of you with the workman on the right approaching Denny, and Denny just outside the gate, a little to the left on the other side of the street.
I had a quick thought. What is the, like, if I tossed 100 pounds on the street, is that like a month's salary, or like perhaps more or less?
Yeah, that's a chunk. That 100 pounds would be roughly $500, give or take, in today's money. It's not quite a month's salary, depending on your job, but it might also be a month's salary, depending on your job.
It's dark though. Would anyone see it, or are there street lamps?
There are street lamps. It's not pitch dark out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will throw 300 pounds in the closest orb of light on the ground to make it easily visible. And Denny's what, like at the gate, halfway to the street?
Kind of at the alley,
Okay.
kind of sort of guarding the mouth of it. You got plenty of movement to do whatever you want, and we can have you be wherever you think you would have been.
I want to be at the back of the pack so I can like slowly back up as people are leaving and then turn and run.
Sure.
But at the same time, I want to distract this guy, so I don't like, here's $300, but also, what's going on, buddy? So I guess I'll just continue. I'll toss it into the light and just continue down the alley at
Okay.
however far I can get.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be... I don't honestly think you need to roll. That's a chunk of change.
Yeah, I want it to be whatever he makes in a month, but like several times that. So where he like has to stop and grab it.
Right.
If it's $500, I'm fine with that as well. I don't know what the gauge is.
It's about a factor of 5, give or take, to modern dollars. But people on the whole also make less. So yeah, we'll say 300 pounds is an attractive number for a working class dude in London. That's a chunk. You could, like, yeah, you could buy a couple Model Ts for that, actually.
Okay.
So that's a real, like, that's money.
Okay.
So you chuck 300 pounds onto the street and begin backing away into the alley. Yeah, he's absolutely going to stop and pick that up. And if Denny is still moving, you make it into the alley without a problem. And it seems like nobody is actively pursuing you right now as you're in this alley across from the back of Penny Foundation.
So I think if we just hoof it for as long as we can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not even really going to try and rely on us getting a cab or anything.
Gonna
Sure.
be dawn in a couple hours anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Then we'll actually call it here as you decide how to get to wherever it is you want to go. As I'm going to point out just a few things. One, the doctor is all gauzed up over his face, only his eyes are showing, which is potentially handy from a post facto identification perspective, but looks a little odd on the street. All of you are pretty dirty with coal dust and coal and whatnot, which also looks potentially a little odd. But we'll call it there and give you lots of time to ponder what your next move might be on the mean streets of London. And hope that the dice are a little kinder.
Yeah.
It was a really shocking amount of
A little
stunning
rough.
visuals. Excuse me. Sorry, my eyes are killing me.
Everybody around next weekend?
Yes.
Yeah, we're all done with our vacations.
We had them all kind of stacked, but we are good to coast for a bit, I think.
Did you add the? I see $2,150 of assets. Did you add that in there?
To where?
My gear and cash. Sorry.
That is going to be from presumably your level up and stuff. So you can add at this point another 1,500 or 1,700, and then you just chuck 3 out of the street.
How the freak you add money?
Great question. You need to unlock the sheet.
Yeah, it's unlocked. I just can't. I can maneuver spent, but I can't do add anywhere else.
Oh, that's. Neither can I. Okay, hang on. That ain't right. Whoop. There. Oh, because that's derived from your credit rating.
Yeah, I can just throw it in asset details.
Yeah. Just so you get an extra 1,700 pounds in your asset details. Right, because by and large, it abstracts away things like the amount of cash on hand, so you don't have to track all the time all the change in your pocket.
Right. Okay.
But it does mean the only real way to increase it is to up your credit rating somehow.
Right. Cool. And
But yeah, well,
did Adele just say like assorted books and scrolls, or are we tracking that?
I have the names of the books and the scrolls.
Sweet. Okay. Just making sure. So I'll forget that by next round.
So yeah, I have it in my notes that I'll post.
so let's say for the duration of the time you're in London, make a note on your sheet. Yeah, you got 1,700 pounds, and for the duration of your time in London, we will up your spending level to 40. As just, I'm not going to track anything under 40 on having an extra 1,700 pounds in your pocket while in London. Or England, where they take pounds. You know, while you're in a country that accepts pounds as currency. Put it that way.
Got it. Okay.
Cool. All right.
Awesome. Holy
All
shit.
right.
Yep. We'll see everyone next week.
Sounds good.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
All right,
See you all.
bye.
Yes, thank you.
Bye, guys.